Yeah.
They're finding the police are not finding them, right?
So how many more are there, right?
So until the bar goes in and really does a full accounting of what has happened, and we know it goes back years, if not over a decade, this kind of, then no one's seeing if they took anything else, right? And holding anybody accountable that's tied to it. And that's really hard to swallow.
Well, I didn't even realize the bar did that or could do that kind of thing, step in and do kind of an investigation type that. And why hasn't the FBI or whoever else gone through and seen all that? Couldn't they do it just as easily?
Because we have attorney-client privilege, right? We don't want police officers going through our files. That's not appropriate because there is, we have a trust.
Right.
Not just a trust account, but like there's this, we have attorney-client privilege is the highest
Sure.
Level of confidentiality that you have. So the bar, as the licensing agent of attorneys in the state of South Carolina, they are really the only ones who can go through and look at that.
Oh, wow. So when the FBI goes in and investigates stuff, is that because the lawyer has asked them to, or are there certain things that they are allowed to just go and do?
There's certain things. There's like a threshold. There has to be like some accusation. There's more of a crime
for the FBI and the police to get involved. They're investigating a crime, and when I say we have a duty to report each other for stealing from the trust account, I don't have to call the police and say Amy took $50,000.
Gotcha. So it's just.
But to keep my law license, I have to tell the bar.
Right. That makes sense.
Something's going on here, or I have to try to say, Amy, there's levels to it.
Yeah.
Are you stealing $50,000? And we have to talk about it internally.
Yeah.
And then it gets escalated to a point where it could come to, if I'm going to be implicated in this and my law license is on the line, I've got a duty to report to protect. And it's not just to protect, your law firm or those clients. It's like the integrity
of the profession.
Because you get ambulance chasers or lawyers or bad raps like that. Why are you charging me so much money? Those things. And this stuff is more offensive. I mean, the murders are bad. I haven't seen all the evidence in that,
really any evidence, right?
I don't know that Alec did it. I don't know who did it. That will all come out one day. Hopefully they get to the bottom of it. But this stuff is, putting all of the South Carolina bar on defense in a way that I think that we should hold them. I feel more of a responsibility that we need to hold everybody involved in that accountable, because I've always been taught is the worst thing you can do. And in my heart is like the worst thing you could do is just steal money from people who are hurt.
Yeah, who are already without.
Who trusted you.
We really love being loyal. I know this sounds really cheesy, but I love being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like I do. I adore it. My friends get mad at it. They're like, I wish I got up every morning excited about what I did like you do. I really do. I love being a lawyer and I love helping people. And I'm proud of it, right? We've worked so hard, put out this crazy amount of education, all this money. We're still paying back loans, doing all these things. And then we take this bar exam that we like almost have a nervous breakdown over, right? And we do all these things to get to this level, and we're really proud of it. And then in a fell swoop, this asshole just kind of like takes all the wind out of our sails, and it makes everybody that looks at me question all the good attorneys. Because there's way, I know them. I know a lot of them. I know a big majority of them. And they're all really great. And they're all like fighting to do
some
really
at that
good
law
stuff.
firm are really great,
Absolutely.
So it's like, give them a chance to exonerate themselves, because we're sitting here being like, some of them knew.
Lumping them all.
Which ones knew? Like, I don't want to lump them all together.
Yeah.
But who could have stopped it? And so, but I mean, enough about that. I could talk about that all day.
A long time, right?
Yeah. So Russell Lafitte, there was also an emergency hearing in front of a federal judge. Is it Gurgle? I can't remember. I've never been before him, and I've never met him, so I don't know exactly what his last name is. Down in Charleston, like 2 weeks ago, because we've learned that there are recordings, not just one recording, but multiple recordings, implicating the board of directors at Palmetto State Bank, as
Recordings
well as
from who?
Russell Lafitte.
Gotcha.
And the attorneys for Palmetto State Bank want those recordings because they want to know what's coming at them.
Oh yeah.
Right. I think everybody wants those recordings.
We haven't heard. The judge hasn't ruled on that yet, but
if they have to be turned over, I'm betting that they probably will.
Yeah.
Has anything new happened with the whole Mallory Beach case?
Yes.
There's so many facets to this.
So Mark Tinsley, who is an amazing attorney that represents the Beach family, well, there's a couple different things. Let's talk about this first. So there was a motion brought by Parker's to sever the trials. There would be one trial against Parker and one trial against Alex Murdaugh for the death of Mallory Beach. And the judge ruled in favor of Parker's to sever those trials, which was hard for us to kind of like wrap our mind around because of joint and several liability. If you were to have two trials and you were to get a verdict against one and collect, you couldn't collect against the other one.
Right.
You have to have them together, right? It's
So to remind him, they're suing Parker's because Buster uses fake ID
right.
to buy the alcohol.
And
So
Alex
that's a
Murdaugh
dram
because
shop.
he knew
And then Alex Murdaugh because he knew that Buster was
using that
drunk
fake ID.
driving that
Yeah.
boat and using that fake ID.
Yeah, I'm glad you broke that down because I was like, why would Alex Murdaugh?
We haven't talked about
Yeah.
it in so long about
Yeah.
what
I
that
know.
case is.
Yeah.
And so they broke that up now. So there's going to be
But so Mark Tinsley, I'm sure he was probably freaking out. Like, we can't do that way because then if Alec goes first, then Parker's can't be held responsible, right?
right.
It
They
makes
put
no
the blame
sense.
on somebody else.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Point the finger, and then because it's two separate trials,
Right.
it all works in Parker's favor. So Mark Tinsley, I know he was freaking out in the moment, but he filed a motion to reconsider and kind of just restated the law and all the stuff behind it. And the judge, which I thought was awesome, because a lot of times you get a judge that'll double down,
Yeah.
realize that they're right. You know, in the split second of the moment, he wasn't thinking about this one little thing, and it changes the whole dynamic of everything.
Yeah.
And he reversed.
He truly
So now it's
reconsidered
back
it.
to one.
He truly reconsidered, which is like rare.
Rare.
Yeah.
So now it's back to one trial.
Now it's back to one.
Wow. That's
And
huge.
then,
Yeah.
I think Parker's took that as a hit and got mad. And then
What it is.
they're sore losers in
win.
general. Yeah, that's a great one. And it was the right thing to do. The law is what supports that. And so they filed a motion to have Mark Tinsley removed as the attorney because what they said is that he has made himself a witness in the case. So as an attorney, you can't make yourself a witness in the case. So
How is he a witness?
essentially
Because you can't call yourself to the stand, right? You can't
Right.
be like, I interviewed Rainey and I'm calling myself to the stand to tell you about it.
And that's what he was going to do?
No, but that's
why you can't.
That's
make
the
yourself a
premise
witness.
behind it.
So you never want to make yourself a witness in your own case. You always want to have somebody there with you that you can call to use
Instead of
as
you.
evidence to say what happened, because you can't. What you say as the lawyer is not evidence.
Yeah. So essentially, what Mark Tinsley says is that there was a reporter, and that reporter, I can't remember her name, she is doing a documentary on Mallory Beach and the Mallory Beach case and her death. And someone, and I think it's in dispute and only in dispute by Parker's, is that someone from Parker's side gave all this evidence over to this documentary lady reporter. And part of that evidence that they gave over was the pictures of Mallory Beach's body. And it was shown, that body, those pictures, in a trailer for this documentary that she was trying to sell before it was complete. And Mark Tinsley said that she told him that someone from Parker's gave it to her, from what I understand. And Parker's is saying, oh, you made yourself a witness in the case, so you can't represent them anymore.
When life gets ugly, justice is love.